Good morning. It's Friday, March 3rd, and this is for D Block to correct their Chapter 8 pack. I'll be going through it pretty quickly. This is a thick pack. I don't want to talk too much. I mean, I do, but I'm not going to talk too much about these. Really, this is to check your work. If you have a challenge, look at the answer here, some of my work to help you figure it out. I'm sure somewhere in this pack I will have made a mistake. I apologize in advance. If you want to email me, you can, but hopefully I don't have too many of those. Looking at page 1, these are the answers, and you might just want to pause the video if I go too fast. I'm going to go too fast. I'll tell you that right now. You just need to pause the video to check your work. Please use a marker. If you get something wrong, circle it. You know, if it's one per section, probably okay. But if you notice a pattern, like you've made several mistakes in a row, that's really important to notice. There's a pattern of mistakes. What's going wrong? I need to figure this out. And again, get help. Get help from me or from my answer key or from Khan Academy videos. Your textbook is another resource at your fingertips. Maybe you have an older sibling or a parent that can help you with some of this pre-algebra. All right, equations and inequalities. Equations, 2 plus 3 is 5. Inequalities, 2 plus 3 is less than 7. And then we got into less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. Those are the two big concepts. Section 8.1, these are the first answers as you start. The bottom is really just an example box, sort of walking you through a situation with substitution method, which again, I think I said this in my last video, is kind of frustrating. I call it the trial and error method. In these sections, you should read this carefully. This is some of the teaching. This boy here has replaced me. He's trying to teach you some of what's going on here. Okay, flipping to page 2. Answers in the top half of the page. Yeah, so you're substituting, what if x is 6? Well, 6 plus 8 is 14. Does that equal 15? Does that get me there? Nope, but these get you closer. Trial and error. Oh, what about 7? Yay, 7 works. It's equal. Here's the next example, number 8. The answer was 19. So the answer to number 7 was 7. The answer to number 8 was 19. Ultimately, they're trying to help you understand this concept. Sometimes when they break it up so much, I find it confusing, and I know some of you do as well. Then they start letting you do it on your own, and it starts to make a little more sense. But I didn't like this one. They made you try to come up with a substitution that probably didn't work, but got you close. But if you really were confused in these two, you know what? It's confusing. But A could be 7. Nope, doesn't work. But that got me close. That got me to 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. Oh, one more than 7, 8. Yay, that works. Similar over here. Keep going to page 3. Again, you're trying to take a stab at it. You're a trial and error. What if 4 plus 7 is 12? Nope, it's not. That's 11. But it got me close. We have one more, 5. All right, those are the answers here. For these, I just started answering them, frankly. They're so easy. It's hard to set them up, but to not get it right the first time. The bottom of this was just work. Turning to page 4, section 8.1. This is problem 15. They walk you through another one. This time, though, with multiplication. 6 times what? 6p. 6 times 3. Does that equal 30? Sorry, my cat is meowing really loud. All right, here's some other answers. Final answer would be 5 for problem 15. Problem 16. This is what I did. So I'm substituting. What if 1/4 of 10? Putting in 10. This problem is a little tricky, but 1/4 of 10, kind of like 1/4 of 100 is 25. 1/4 of 10 is 2.5. Does that work? Does that equal 3? Nope. What about what's 1/4 of 11? 2.75. Nope. What's 1/4 of 12? Yay. The answer is 12. Anyway, here's some final answers. 17, 18, 19, 20. I really didn't like that section 8.1, the first half of it, but it's leading you into balancing. Yay, balancing. This is what algebra is all about. Balancing equations. Trying to isolate the variable, often on the left, but not always, and doing the same thing to both sides. The circle always means you put in an operation. That's going to come up later in the pack when things get more confusing. So you circle, you put in an operation. X plus 12 equals 28. Let's get rid of the 12. Let's subtract it. But you got to do that to both sides. Now we've 12 minus 12 is 0, so we just have x. 28 minus 12 is 16. So there's going to be a lot of that balancing. They set it up this way. I set it up a little differently, and I've shown you this before. We're trying to isolate the variable. Okay, number 21, the answer is 15. You took away 9 from both sides. I got to pick up the pace here. Sorry, this video will take too long. All right. Number 22, the answer is 17. You took away 14 from both sides. And this is more my way here. You set up sort of underneath the positive 15, negative 15, do the same thing to both sides. The W is isolated on the left. Try to get that equal sign lined up. That's something you'll hear more about. 21, 46 is P. Notice this goes backwards. That's okay sometimes. The variable can be on the right. And 37. Next page, number 27 is 33, 28 is 20, K equals 21, 29, B equals 34, 30, 55 equals D, 31, M is 24, 32, 40 is Y. We have an example. They're switching it up on us a little bit. Now we have multiplication, so you've got to divide. I showed division this with fractions. That's a common strategy in algebra. You don't show a division sign, you just set up fractions. 7x equals 42, divide both sides by 7. Isolate the variable. You end up getting x equals 6. Number 34, p equals 6. Next page, number 35. You know what? I'm not going to talk about this page. Just pause your video, check your work. These equations have multiplication. To isolate the variable, you had to divide out the coefficient of the variable. That was an example. All right, next page. 39 through 44, here are the answers. 39 is W equals 54, 40, Y equals 36. Here are the 4 answers on the bottom of the page. Okay, next page. We have a lot of example here. Subtraction of fractions. So when you're adding a fraction to the variable, to isolate the variable, you are going to subtract it from the variable. And then the other side, obviously. You've got to balance. They've got to balance. All right. X equals 1/2, number 45. Next page. Number 46 equals 1/2. E equals 1/2. 47, K equals 1/3. If you got 3/9, that's right. You just try to simplify. 48, the answer was P equaled 3/4 or 9/12. All right, the next section is adding fractions. So I predict we're going to be subtracting. Next page. Yes, subtracting from both sides. G equals 1/3 for number 49. Number 50, D equals 3/5. 51, 3/4. 52 is 4/5. Next page. All right, here we're dividing. What's the opposite of dividing? Multiplying. So here we are 7x equals 4/5. We're going to, actually, we're multiplying, so we're dividing again. They do it sort of on the side. I like to do it underneath without the division sign. A little different, but they're both okay. All right, the answer was x is 4/49. This was a pretty hard problem. I had someone email me about this one. But if you got it right, great. If you didn't, check this out. Maybe, yeah, keep change flip. 4/7 times, because we're dividing by 7, which is 7/1, and then we have to flip it. So a lot of some older skills from the fall coming back into play. This is the hard page. There's a lot here. I'll just let you pause it, check your work. If you're struggling, I think seeing how I solve these should get you to an aha moment. You'll figure it out. All right, here's the bottom half of the page. Give you a moment to pause it, check your work. Hopefully I didn't make any mistakes. All right, next page was, so now we're getting to linear equations and graphing. You're gonna do a lot of graphing when you get into middle school, high school, especially with algebra. That's why we studied the quadrants, the coordinate plane in 5th grade, the first quadrant, which is where these will go. Chapter 9, which you are studying simultaneously with Chapter 8, I'm asking a lot of you right now, you'll learn that that coordinate plane is actually much bigger than what you thought. 4 times bigger. All right, those are the answers to beginning of section 8.2. This is really about reading, knowing what difference means, or sum, or product, some of this vocab coming into play. All right, next page. Using bar models, Alicia has X picture cards. Nigel has 10 fewer picture cards than Nigel, so Nigel has X minus 10. There's Alicia's, he has 10 less. And then this idea of independent variable, dependent variable. The independent variable is the one that sort of comes up first in the story often. It's the one that something happens to it. If this happens to it, X take away 10 equals the Y, then you get your answer. This depends on all of this. If I change X here to some other value, then this changes. This is sort of running the show, the X, the one that comes first, the one that has something happen to it is the dependent variable. Who depends on it? The answer. Over here, the Y. Anyway, this is one of these things I wish we could spend a whole day and do a lesson on this, but you're just learning it from videos and maybe just struggling through the work. But there's a lot in the next few pages about independent variables and dependent variables. Okay, next page. This was a hard one because there was a mistake. I talked about this in a video. I hope you saw that video. This should have been a T. They had a typo in the text. Gary is H years old. Express H in terms of G. Oh, this started on the previous page. Yeah, problem 6. Jane is G years old. Jerry is 6 years older, so he's G plus 6. Gary is H, so that's like his ultimate age. That's the dependent variable. H equals G plus 6. So it's putting a variable onto his what you're talking about, his age, and that becomes the dependent variable. Independent again is G. Then this problem here, an expression for the cost of the jeans. Jeans are supposed to be $T. Yeah, the G got confused from up here or maybe down here. But T plus $35. I've gone over this one before. Drawing pictures helps if you're getting confused. To be honest, I get confused in these problems. They twist concepts around in your mind. It's just to keep track of things. Draw a picture. $T for a shirt. Pants are $35 more than the shirt. T plus $35. I don't know. That helps me. All right, here's some more answers. For some of the variables, independent, dependent, I just put it sort of under the word. Let's keep it simple. All right, bottom of problem 9. We're in section 8.3, I believe. No, maybe we're still in 8.2. Here's the Joe problem. Check it out. Okay, next page. We're at 14 minutes. I need to move along. Problem 10 and 11. Here are the answers to 10 and 11. 12 and 13, here are your answers. Okay, next page. Now you're graphing points on a coordinate plane. This is the 5th grade way. There's no linear expression here, but on problem 15, you start seeing that you could connect the dots and make a line. That would be a linear equation. Very sort of a simple expression. expression. This is important. The horizontal axis is for the independent variable, vertical axis is for the dependent variable. You'll notice that'll come into play here. Like instead of X, I put the A there on this next page to show that is the independent variable. I want to check that. Horizontal is independent. Yes, horizontal is independent. Vertical is dependent upon whatever happens here. Here's some answers. All right, I'm getting tired. I need to go to bed. Here's some more answers to the next page. Problem 17. About Adrian has H card games. Ben is 2 fewer than Adrian. This one was harder to draw, number 18, because there's some big jumps in the dependent variable, Q, or on the y-axis. So when I set it up, I predicted that. I counted out, so I thought, oh, let's add 2 rows. If you didn't sort of think ahead to where this would lie on the coordinate plane, you probably got off into the words, which might be confusing. But sometimes when you're graphing, it's good to sort of think out in advance how it might go. Or sometimes you just have to do a second draft. So here's side length, here's perimeter. Yours looks something like that, and here's the table. All right, greater than, here's section 8.3. Solving simple inequalities, greater than, less than, equal to, and then we get into some other concepts and how do you represent these. 7 and 8, here are your answers. Your answers actually could vary on 7 and 8. There are lots of answers. I think infinity answers could work here, but this is what you really need to get right. This is the new skill. How do you show an inequality on a number line? Greater than or less than, you have an open circle. One of my videos a few days ago talked about this. Open circle, less than, greater than. Then here are some other examples where you have to sort of make a simple little number line. What gets hard on this page, I think, is when you get into the negatives. Anyway, you know, it's first one, 9 is left, 10 is right, 11 goes right, 12 goes left, 13 goes right, 14 goes right. Or you could say, you know, less than, greater than, less than, greater than, greater than. Okay, next page was just a lesson. Skip it, we're going to problem 15. You could have a couple different answers that could work for this. Now this is why the substitution method's coming into play again here. Some answers for these. Hopefully your graphs look like these. And here you're filling in the dot. Why? Filling in the dot show that it's greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Almost done. Thank you for your focus and patience. I hope you were able to correct with the video. This problem was, some people emailed about this one. This was a little confusing, the Wayne problem. I think I actually put a photo of this into the office hours document yesterday. All right. 108 muffins for number, 65 comics, 108 muffins, 68 pages. The answers to that. Problem 5. Don sold 12 sandwiches. Next page. Number 6. 24 dimes. Last page, second to last page. 48 marbles for number 7. 24 tiles for number 8. And on the last page, almost there. 9. The answer to A was W is greater than or equal to 15. The minimum number would be 15. Last problem. S was less than 500. Maximum number of words a student must write for the essay is 499. All right, we made it. Hopefully this didn't eat up too much of your Friday work period. I wanted you to start with this, then you can have some work with for extension, catch up or extension. About several of you, maybe half of you haven't finished your 120 minutes of Khan Academy. Maybe you didn't need to do 60 of grammar because it's being spread out now. If that's the case, that I get it. Rebecca mentioned that to me, and that might be true of others. All right, good luck with your correcting, and have a great weekend. Bye.